So my name is Habiba Bankston, and this is my story. I was born with sickle cell disease, which is a very common genetic blood disorder that affects millions of people, primarily those who are African American and Latino. Um, Blood transfusions are the most common treatment for individuals living with sickle cell disease. And to really understand the impact of blood donations and how it affects people living with sickle cell disease is to really understand the illness. As someone who was diagnosed at birth, I've lived with sickle cell all of my life. And it was incredibly challenging growing up, just trying to live a normal life, in addition to managing the day-to-day roller coaster ride that sickle cell will take you on. So it's a very painful disease, something that really impacts your body, your physical strength, makes it challenging for you to do things or to really live the normal life of an able-bodied person. I can think back on my experience growing up, not really being able to participate in sports or do a lot of the things that my siblings were doing or that my friends were doing. So that was incredibly challenging, in addition to missing out on a lot of school because I was often very ill because of my sickness. At times I was hospitalized maybe 3 to 4 times a year. So imagine dealing with that while living in New York City in a single parent household with a mom who was working 2 jobs while also taking care of 3 children in New York City of all places. So it's a disease that not only impacts the patient and the individual, but it has ripple effects on the entire family. When I turned 17, although as you get older, it becomes a little bit easier to manage the illness just because you get used to the regular pain. Sometimes not being able to physically get out of bed, or even if you do minor things like run up and down the street or play double dutch with your girlfriends, the aftermath of that, knowing that your body is going to be in pain just based upon the disease and how it affects you. When I turned 17, I had a silent stroke. So stroke is a very common complication with sickle cell disease. About 17% of children who have sickle cell will experience a silent stroke before the age of 14, and 24% will experience a stroke before the age of 45. So I had mine at age 17, right before I was getting ready to graduate from high school. And just as I found out, then I got a full scholarship to The Ohio State University. So to be at such a monumental point in my life, to have that happen was scary. It was life-changing, but I had to continue to push through. So once having that silent stroke, which I didn't have any physical symptoms, but in routine MRIs, my doctors were able to see the effects of the stroke in my brain. From there, I started my journey of regular blood transfusions, which has honestly been life-saving in more ways than one. Not only has blood transfusions decreased the chances of me having another stroke, which is very common with sickle cell patients, you can have more than one stroke. But in addition to that, it's really enhanced my quality of life. Since I started my journey of having regular blood transfusions, managing my illness has become much easier. I'm definitely not sick as much as I used to be. So I mentioned before, I used to be hospitalized sometimes 3 to 4 times a year. It's maybe a week at a time. But since I started this treatment 15 years ago, I can maybe count twice that I've been hospitalized since then. So I share all of this because what you're doing right now in giving blood and giving this small gift and giving your time to do this, it's more than just a blood donation. You are giving life, literally. You're giving people like me the strength to live a full life. If I didn't have these blood transfusions, I can't imagine what my life would look like. There's so much that I've been able to do and accomplish over the last 15 years that I've been doing this. I've had over 180 blood transfusions, and I am grateful for each and every one. Over the years, managing this treatment in addition to my day-to-day life has absolutely been challenging. Getting through college, managing relationships, managing a full-time job has been challenging, but overall, without the gifts that I've been receiving from my community, I can't say that I would have been able to do and accomplish all of these things that I've been able to do in my life thus far. I hope that my story encourages people. Like, I want to be brave with my life, and that way other people can be brave with theirs. The gifts that you give, it's not small. It's so big, and it means so much to so many other people. This marks 15 years for me. So my story is only one of many. But as you give blood today, and I hope that today will just be the first of many times that you continue to give blood, you're saving somebody's life. You're freeing someone. There is a quote that I absolutely love. It says, "There is no liberation without community." And that quote is so true. If not for my community, if not for the gifts of normal people just choosing to give blood every single day, I would not be set free. I am free right now from the daily pain of my illness. I am free right now from so many other things that my sickle cell could have brought to me if not for this life-saving treatment. So as you give today, I hope that you keep my story in mind. I hope that you share it with other people, and I hope that you continue to give.